Welcome to another video game based off a movie. Today we're going to talk about Gremlins Strike vs. Gizmo. Those of you already remember the movie pretty well. Oh, you should remember, and you might have seen in the movie before. Gizmo is a Mogwai. By the way, this is Russian, so you can't understand what they're saying. And those of you playing this game before on the Game Boy Advance, you might know about the story about a legendary Mogwai named Gizmo, who was being taken care of by an old Chinese man and his young boy, which only appeared in the first movie once. And it's an old man, and wants to pay him good money, but he said Mogwai's not for sale, which is what Gizmo is. But the boy gives him the money. Gives him the Mogwai, and take him home to his grandson Billy. And once he gets to his house, and they had to use some rules. Do not get him wet, do not feed him after midnight, and the third rule of all, make sure he doesn't get to the sunlight or anything else of bright light will actually kill him. And just like that, they break the rules, and once there's water dropped on him, and there were a bunch of Mogwais, and once they eat something, they turn to vicious gremlins. And this is pretty much the whole game. They're playing in Gizmo. You have an option to play both characters. If you play Gizmo, he'll do his spin attack, and giving you your flashlight against the gremlins is the only way to defeat them. But if you're playing Strike, you'll find a bunch of Mogwais that are like Gizmo. And you can use your claw attacks against the Mogwais instead of Stripe, and Gizmo being the final boss. But if you're playing Gizmo, you have to fight most likely nothing more than gremlins as enemies, just like in the film. If those of you haven't watched the movie, I envy you that both Gremlins 1 and 2 are the best movies out there since 1985 toward 1990 from its sequel, which I'll get to pretty soon. There are other Gremlin games besides this one. Anyways, you collect all gifts, and most likely batteries, based on how much you use, and basic platforming and switches, and then getting extra lives. But every time you die, you are sent back to a checkpoint. But nonetheless, this is all you do in this game is collect presents. And once you get to the end of your level, you hit to a Xmas tree. And yeah, I know what I said. This takes place at Xmas time. Even you are playing Gizmo to save the entire town from the invasion of gremlins. You have to go like all these levels, probably 10 levels. All of a sudden, each end of the levels will have a gremlin boss. All of a sudden, you solving puzzles. I was just getting this far into the game. You can either avoid the gremlins or fight almost every last one of them. You'll find different types of gremlins where their interesting outfits. They'll have different ability attacks, and so they'll stop at nothing until they get rid of Gizmo and take the entire town. But if you get too close by a gremlin, you have to press SAB, or like what the game shows you, the LR button, as quickly as possible. If you don't, a random gremlin will just pop out of nowhere and will force the feed Gizmo some sweets and turn him into a gremlin as well. So be careful. I always find Gizmo pretty much adorable, and most likely my favorite character. Or that he's voiced by Javi Mandel. Oh, that is the cutest voice you ever heard. But anyways, and most likely, this game does take place in the early 80s. He's in most likely the town. I don't know if you don't do your best to defeat them right away. Maybe the game is over. Also, the music's not half bad, and the graphics are pretty interesting for a GBA. I like how they're using scenes from the movie. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, they use that giant spider, or gremlin, that's from the sequel. Spoilers, if those of you who haven't watched the sequel yet. The new batch, this is what the gremlin is looking like. Yeah, every time you die in the gremlin, boss will restore its life. If back. And then you have to try again. Also, you'll get a password. The game will become a little bit hard to do. And the more challenging it gets, the more harder it'll be. You just avoiding their attacks. So to cut to the chase of this game, I'll just get to the end of it. The final stage you get to is basically the toy shop. Of that Stripe was escaped from the movie theater which you were in. This will be your final stage, and you have to defeat Stripe before he multiplies more gremlins and the waterfowl thing, or we'll do this all over again. And that was Gremlins and Stripe vs. Gizmo. This is a pretty good game. And if you are a huge fan of Gremlins, this will be pretty much fun for you to enjoy playing the game. It makes you decide to play whether Gizmo or Stripe. As long as you use your different abilities in the game, it'll be really fun to do in this game. So overall, I get this game, if it wasn't for the music being all wacky and silly, and just being a Game Boy Advance with not the best soundtrack of all, I give it pretty much a 7 out of 10. It's not really the best Gremlins video game. It's pretty good, but they kind of use still images. All I can say is it's pretty much worth your money and your time. And if you're really a huge gremlins fan playing in both characters, two of them, from Gizmo and Stripe. So it's a pretty good game. To give it a pretty good thumbs up, baby. Anyways, leave a like and subscribe and more views to this one. So, I'll catch you all in my next video game movie review that I'll talk about pretty soon. So, see you then!